Hello, hello. Welcome back.
You can't just you don't have free autonomy over what to do with this intro. You gotta stick with one line. Come on.
Quack, quack.
There we go. Welcome back to another Midnight Mango. Okay, here's one thing about me. I love a woman in her comeback era. There is nothing that can stop me from being obsessed with a woman in her comeback era. There is just something so powerful about it. A woman that rises through the ashes and is like, I'm back, you bitches. Okay, I can't get enough. I eat it up every single time. I don't even care who's on the other side of this. I will always love this woman. And that woman today is Song Hye-kyo. I'm so nervous. She is one of the most popular actresses in all of South Korea. She, I believe, is either #1 or #2 top paid actresses as of right now, and has consistently been one of the top paid actresses. And she was recently in the K-drama The Glory, which was a super intense K-drama about school bullying that I had an unhealthy fascination with the whole show. It got me back into my K-drama era. And she played the victim that used the rest of her life to plot her revenge on the high school bullies that literally mutilated her. She played that character to a T. But did you know? She did because her life might have depended on it. Her career might have depended on it. Did you know there's actually a deep story behind this drama? Okay, well, not the drama, but Song Hye-kyo's performance in the drama. So real quick, I just want to say that none of this is confirmed. And Korean news media outlets, Korean YouTubers, Korean netizens have been sued from hell and back by even just covering this, even talking about this. They've been slammed left and right. And on top of that, that's just the legalities. On top of that, there are two crazy strong fan bases for both of the parties involved in today's episode. So,
we got parties today?
Yeah, it's called People Are Gonna Be Really Mad at Me Party. So here I am. I don't know what I'm doing. So here's what people thought happened before The Glory was being shot. There are two women that were involved in this drama. This is their real lives outside of the drama. They got signed, they got booked to do this drama, be a part of this project. And they weren't just using The Glory as a way to perfect their craft. They weren't just using it as a way to make some money and get their name out there or even get more popular or because it's their job. It almost felt like two women's entire careers depended on the success of this show. I'm sure both of them would have been more than financially fine if they retired tomorrow, but they wanted to keep working. And this was their way back into the industry and to be able to prove, I still got it. Imagine the pressure of that. So while I was researching for this video, I started I started sweating. Okay, listen, I know we talk about crazier things on other channels, but when there is any talks of a lawsuit, oh, I'm high alert, okay? Which, speaking of high alert, okay, I feel like cybersecurity is a huge thing now, but it's only going to get even more important. There was a thing that was AI, was it ChatGPT? One of the AIs, they theorized what was going to happen in 2024. Okay. And one of them was massive cybersecurity threats. Out of this world. And I have been using ExpressVPN for years now, and I'm so glad that I do. I just feel so much safer browsing the internet, gathering data from all sort of websites for cases that I cover on here and other channels. And just turning on ExpressVPN makes me feel like I am walking through this crazy, unregulated world of the internet in my own little protective bubble. And then I see people not using VPNs, and I'm like, y'all are out there booty crack naked. Are you guys crazy? At least I'm in some sort of a bubble. You guys are butt crack out and everything. You're okay with this? But you know what I realized? A lot of people that don't use VPNs, because no one really talks about VPNs like this, but they just think
wait, you can see me?
And I'm like, you are basically picking your nose at a red light and your car windows aren't tinted. Yeah. I think anyone who really wants to, they can see it. So you should probably get ExpressVPN. It keeps me and my computer safe anytime I use an unencrypted or unsecured public Wi-Fi network. Basically, anyone using the same Wi-Fi, if you're at Starbucks, all the customers using their Wi-Fi can basically steal your information, your passwords, your credit card information, your bank details. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network. They create a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. husband is actually a bit more tech security than I am, and he did his research and he was like, yes, okay, ExpressVPN is like top quality VPN services. They don't log your data or sell it to advertisers like a lot of cheap or free VPNs will do. They even develop technology that makes their servers incapable of storing any data at all. They also use Lightway, which is a technology that makes their connection lightning fast. A lot of common complaints that I see with regular VPN users is that it slows their internet speed and it makes movies and video games buffer, and that completely defeats one of my main purposes of using ExpressVPN, because I want to get access to thousands of new Netflix titles that are not available in my country. I still pay the same amount in my Netflix, but I probably watch more Netflix shows than you guys because I can change my location through ExpressVPN, go to Germany and watch Secret Garden. That's going to be pertinent in the story later because we're talking about Secret Garden later. But anyway, you can switch it to the UK and watch Penthouse War and Life, and it's just amazing quality, zero buffering. I don't even feel it. Even at like hotels or even dorms, airports, you need ExpressVPN. So protect yourself and your internet activity with the VPN that I personally use and trust. Go to expressvpn.com/biz to find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN free. That's expressvpn.com/biz to find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN completely free. And thank you, ExpressVPN, for sponsoring today's video. And let's get into it. Woo! I'm so nervous. Okay, so the writer of the show, The Glory.
Why are you nervous?
I just told you they be suing people left and right for even talking about it.
Who, the actor or?
2 actors. Well, they're agencies. I don't want to make it seem like they're going out and like trying to do this.
For you to talk about the actor and actress?
No, talking about the actor and actress is fine, but I'm going to dive into their divorce. So today we're talking about, we're going to get there. I had an intro, you know what I mean? I had a vibe for this. But we're talking about 2 of the most famous actor and actresses in South Korea who got married, and their divorce literally sent netizens spinning. I've never seen a divorce like that.
Okay.
And usually, in the world of Korean celebrities, dating, marriages, divorces, there's drama, but it's not like the US where we come out guns a-firing. We're like, we're divorced, babes? Let's do a reality show. I'm about to expose you. In Korea, they're like,
Oh, irreconcilable differences, but we love each other still. Hee hee.
but this was crazy. It was cuckoo bananas. But first, the writer of the show The Glory is actually a very famous writer. Her name is Kim Eun-suk. And even if you don't really recognize her name, which I didn't until recently, but you will still recognize all the work that she's done. If you've ever even been slightly dipped your toe into the world of K-dramas, Secret Garden, The Heirs, Descendants of the Sun,
Damn.
The Glory, these are only just a few of her titles. She is one of the most famous show writers in all of Korea. She is the queen of K-dramas, and it's alleged that she gets paid $80,000 to write one episode.
And how many episodes in the show?
The Glory was 8, but some of these had a lot more.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had thoughts, So she did Descendants of the Sun. It's like, what, 2016, 2017, okay? And then people were like, everything she's been kind of putting out afterwards, they're good. They got ratings, but they didn't have the oomph that she used to be bringing. They weren't like the Secret Garden, they weren't the Heirs. Like, she had these oomph shows, and people were either waiting for her next one, or they said, you know what, maybe she's kind of not in touch with the younger audience now as she's getting older. Maybe people are kind of getting sick of her stories, because she does have critics out there that say that some of her stories are too reliant on not realistic banter that would never happen, but like witty banter, you know what I mean? Like, she focuses too much on that, as some of her critics say that. And again, she's financially more than well off. It's not like she needs to be working, but it's like, okay, either she's writing her next big hit, or people are going to say that she's in her flop era, and her career is going to slowly kind of dissipate from there, most likely. So I'm sure that she's feeling the pressure. And then the lead actress that gets casted, people were kind of shocked. Song Hye-kyo. She had a more complicated situation. She had a very, very public divorce in 2019 and took a 2-year hiatus. And for 2 years, it's like the public just ripped her to shreds. They turned on her. They dragged her to hell and back through the mud for 2 years. And then she finally had a comeback, and it wasn't The Glory. It was called Now We're Breaking Up, literally after her divorce. It's a very classic drama for Song Hye-kyo. Like if you watch her stuff, I mean, she's the romantic lead. She's doing what she's always been doing, and she's 41 now. And people liked it because they like her acting. She's undoubtedly talented, but they weren't like, oh my god, that was a masterpiece. So when people said that she was casted in The Glory, there were talks about if she doesn't nail this, if she doesn't kill this role, again, she's made more than enough money to retire, travel the world, live her best life. That's not what we're saying. But people might be saying that she's entering her flop era. You know what I mean? Okay?
Damn.
And if the hate got to her, what if she ends up leaving the industry and she's like, you know what? Bye. I'm going to go gallivant through the south of France. Like, think about the level of pressure that both these women have been under, and they've previously worked together on Descendants of the Sun. So they're former coworkers. They know each other. They're familiar with each other. They're friends. So they had to absolutely bring it to the show full force. And they did it. They did it. Okay, this is the story of how Song Hye-kyo went from beloved princess, had her fall from grace for whatever reason, to hated actress, literally despised actress, and now coming back as a queen mother. I'm sorry. I'm so biased. I just really eat up like a female main character moment. You know what I mean? And this is no hate to her ex-husband. I guess I'm just not that invested on his side of the story. Like, it's not like I chose one over the other. I'm like,
Oh no, I hate him and love her.
I hope both of them do well in all their future endeavors. But like, her story is kind of more interesting, you know?
What's his name again?
Song Joong-ki. That's my sister's MVP. You know what I mean?
Your sister's oppa.
I think she's older than him, but calling him oppa.
What? You know,
Brett, my mom calls him oppa. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I heard it.
So, Song Hye-kyo, let's start with her story first. She's been a household name for as long as I can remember. Like, my mom likes her a lot. Like, a lot of people like her. She's got a very charismatic look to her face. And my mom said that she likes that she's not a soft face. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
a lot of Korean actresses are more of that soft face. And that's usually what the Korean audience kind of gravitates towards. Soft, almost like a schoolgirl, innocent look. But Song Hye-kyo, there's something about her where she has a very alluring face. She almost looks a bit mature, but she still looks so young. It's confusing. It's a little bit of a contrast. People say that she has regal energy. So you know how some celebrities, you're like, oh my God, they're so pretty. Oh my God, they're so hot. Oh my God, they're so this, right? But the way that, even the way she looks, but also even the way that she carries herself, it's almost like a queenly energy. And I'm not saying that to use like the term queen, like my queen, right? But you know how some people just
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like
yeah.
a royal vibe about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say that she has that. And she's 41, by the way. Anyway, this is like turning into a love letter. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. Focus. Anyway, so she was born to two pretty young parents. Her parents were both 18 when they had her. And her story is really fascinating. So we don't know much about her family dynamic other than the fact that Song Hye-kyo turns 9. Her parents divorced, and now she's being raised by a single mom. This was huge, especially like 40 years ago, back in the day, like 30 years ago. So here's the problem, little tidbit. In South Korea, if your parents are divorced, your chances of getting married decrease. Is that not so freaking stupid? Is that not the stupidest thing that you've ever heard? Because same. So basically, the idea in South Korea, and I think we're moving way far away from this because women don't even want to get married in South Korea right now. They're literally like,
Marriage? Why would I do that?
so I think we're moving far away from this. But if one party's parents are divorced and the other partner's parents are not divorced, they look down on the party whose parents have been divorced. Because I guess the idea is like you don't have a strong family unit and you haven't seen a successful relationship, which is ironic because most married couples in Korea probably hate each other. So it's weird. Her parents get a divorce and her mom took a lot of this guilt on, it seems, that she was doing this to her child, like gonna make her future harder. And so she moves into Seoul looking for more opportunities. And from the get-go, her father-in-law did help though. So Song Hye-kyo was raised by her mom and her dad's dad. So her dad was not
grandpa,
in her
you mean?
life. Yeah.
Oh.
But on her dad's side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so her dad's not in her life, but her grandpa on her dad's side was like the man raising her. He was the father figure. And because her parents were so young, he would go to all the school stuff and everyone would just assume that he was the dad and not the grandpa.
Ah.
Because they were 18 when they had Song Hye-kyo. And ever since she was young, she was like up in the kitchen, making panchan. She was up in the living room, like fixing with screwdrivers. And her childhood was so lonely. But the one thing that her mom always told her was that I don't know what's going to happen to me, and I need you to be independent. That was like the only message that she got as a kid. Like, you need to be independent. So she's cooking, cleaning, doing everything by herself, is able to survive. She's self-sufficient. And it really seems like the single mom and daughter duo that like they don't really have a lot of people around them. So it's just them. It seems a little bit lonely and isolated, but Song Hye-kyo even said, sometimes my mom was more like my sister. Sometimes she was more like a friend. But even then and now, when I'm sad or having a hard time, I don't dare tell my mom about it. I just don't want my only mother to grieve because of me. So it sounds like she grew up pretty fast as a kid, but like really thankful to her mom. She loves her mom. After she started making it, she bought her mom a $5 million house and was like, here you go, mom. So they have a really good relationship. But back to when she starts getting into the industry. It's actually pretty young. She won this modeling contest, like a pageant in middle school, and a bunch of agencies showed up, saw that pageant, because they're looking for people to sign, and they're like, you need to come audition. So that lands her in a couple of small roles. They translate into bigger roles. And I just felt like she was kind of like unstoppable once she got in. Like once she got her foot in the door, I mean, she played her roles really well, but also she was really pretty. So in 2016, she was ranked 18 in the most beautiful faces in the world by independent critics. So they've been doing this whole ranking for the past since 1990. I mean, South Koreans were shocked because South Koreans were never ranked that high on the list. It's usually Western media and Western celebrities. So Korea was like, we didn't even know about this, but like now that we do, suddenly we care. Suddenly we're like,
We're 18? I mean, Song Hye-kyo is 18, but like, because I look like her.
people start going nuts and they're like, tell us what it is about her so that we can replicate it, like we can try and look like her. Experts in traditional Chinese face reading came out after this, and they stated that Song Hye-kyo's beauty is the perfect golden ratio. So in order to, do you know this?
I don't know. It sounds funny.
So in order to achieve the golden ratio, your face has to be equally 3 parts.
Yeah, I mean.
So your forehead has to be the same as like your eye area and then your mouth area.
Yours looks about pretty even to me. Yeah.
Horizontally, but then vertically, this is where I might lose the game. I don't even know if I have the game horizontally, but this is where I lose the game, okay? You gotta be equal this way, symmetrical. I'm not. The inverted filter makes me want to jump off a building, okay?
You know, I always
Yes.
find that's what they say about another like Chinese celebrity too. But I don't know. I don't know if that's. I feel like sometimes when it's too perfectly even, you lose the charm.
Like you lose which one to look at, which side, which eye to
It
look
looks
at.
a little bland. I don't know. I always feel that way. Am I a little?
Little pick me. I'm just kidding. So Song Hye-kyo is almost mathematically perfect. Literally facial features. Her eyes are said to be, so if her eyes are this big, this is how I like to measure things, not with a tape ruler, you know what I mean? Then the distance between her eyes was the same. So it was like 1, 1, 1. Everything was perfect, literally. And they said that's what creates the most attractive eyes. A lot of plastic surgeons commented that her eyes were strikingly proportionate. Not saying that she had surgery. That's not what they were saying. But they were saying even as plastic surgeons who look at these things on a day-to-day basis, hers are like beyond golden ratio. They said hers are like incomprehensible. Like, how did that happen? They stated that when sometimes your eyes are too long, you give off too fierce of a vibe, like too strong of a vibe. When they're too short, your face looks like taptape, like stuffy, like all concentrated in the middle.
This is what they said, not me, right? I what do I know?
They said her looks don't just stop there. She's got a small but sharp nose, small but thick lips, meaning like the opening of her mouth isn't too big, it's small, but her lips are full. Oh my God, they're like going crazy. These surgeons are just like foaming at the mouth for her perfectly ratioed face. So because of this, people theorize that she's able to pull off the innocent, young, youthful, but yet sexy and alluring look very, very well. So they say that she has a very interesting contrast. It's really confusing. She's so pretty, and she was so pretty that she actually received an acid threat to her face. So January of 2005, her career is taken off and a letter shows up at her mom's house and they demanded $200,000 in cash or else they're going to spray acid all over Song Hye-kyo's face and body. They wrote,
Think carefully. You don't want to see your child's body rotting and melting for the rest of your life, do you? I have a lot of acid in my store. I'm going to send over a delivery man. Hand over the money to them, or else.
Song Hye-kyo had to flee to a safe place. The police had to come and they had a sting operation waiting for this delivery man. They caught the blackmailer. And this is so sad. It was her manager, former manager.
Oh, man.
She worked with this manager for 3 years and they stopped working together because he stole money from her. Yes, and she didn't even file charges. She fired him, but she didn't want to ruin this man's life and send him to prison. So out of the goodness of her heart, she didn't do that. But even after all of that, he was now threatening to disfigure her. I mean, what? So Song Hye-kyo was so traumatized. A lot of people that knew her said that she never left her house after that. She did, but never frequently to hang out. She kind of got more introverted, only trusted herself and her mom. Had a very skeptical approach to humans. She just was never that extroverted, but this made it worse. Until they said she met her Prince Charming, And then she fell in love, and you know the drill. Let me introduce Song Joong-ki into the picture. This guy had a much cushier childhood, and I think maybe that's why I'm not as interested in his story. So he was born into a really loving family. He had the financial ability to just kind of explore what he wanted to do in his life. He got into athletic clubs. He did track. He dreamt of being an Olympian one day. And just all around, he got really good grades. He was a really smart kid. He was also the vice president of the entire school, the head boy, I guess. And he was very handsome in high school. So the rumor was that girls would line up outside the classroom window just to look at him studying. Yeah, he was nicknamed 엄친아. Do you know what 엄친아 is?
No.
That was his nickname. It's 엄마 친구의 아들.
Your mom's friend's son?
Yes, okay. He is 엄친아, which means your mom comes home after hanging out with her friend and goes,
Why can't you be more like
Yes,
Song Joong-ki?
yes, yes.
My friend's son does this and blah, blah,
Yes,
blah, blah,
yes,
blah, and
yes.
you're over here. Da, da.
So they have
Literally, we have the exact same saying. Bear and Jada Heights, other family son.
This one is mom friend son.
Yes.
So that means he's
I just want to say,
yeah?
grass is not always greener on the other side.
Why?
To the parents.
Oh yeah.
Grass is not greener on the other side.
It's never greener.
Come on, parents. Stop comparing your kid to other kids. Do you know what they do? Do you know what they
What do they do? This guy is so upset. He has PTSD.
Do you even know?
Do you even?
You don't even know.
His trauma is showing. Honey, zip it up. Hide it away.
I think parents need to stop doing that. All parents.
You know, okay, what's so funny is parents are, I'm so sorry, I love parents, okay? But I find that it's always only two categories and that's it. I never really find middle ground people.
I know.
It's always,
Why can't you be like my friend's son?
and then my kid can do no wrong. My kid is the best kid. I'm like, guys, we all need to be a bit more rational, okay? Because the reality is your friend's son ain't it and your son ain't it. Nobody's it. Literally, we're all just mediocre people just trying to make it, So anyway, he's the full package. The full package. Anyway, he graduates, gets into one of the Ivies of South Korea. And it wasn't until the third year of college, he's like, why don't I try acting? Because everyone said I'm so handsome, I would kill it at acting. And he was always curious, why not give it a try? At this point, it couldn't hurt anyone. His parents were disappointed, yeah, but they supported him. And there was this acting academy that he joined. And from there, he grew connections, joined a talent agency. And acting is very similar to an idol, where you have a debut. But people kind of know when there's trainees because they're being pushed on smaller platforms. So maybe they don't have a lead, but maybe they have small supporting roles. And they're signed with this agency. He had a fan club before he debuted, which is kind of unheard of at the time. I know these days with idols, people have fan clubs for trainees and stuff. But back then, that was not the case.
What happened? How?
People just thought he was so handsome.
진짜.
진짜 짜다.
진짜다.
진짜 짜다. I mean, he is, I guess, very conventionally attractive, yeah.
I thought like he's definitely the type that's you have to watch a show to get the charm type of guy.
Oh, no.
I mean, that's my opinion. So.
I know Song Joong-ki lovers don't come for us. Yeah, he had a lot of hype. He still does, but it's very interesting. But you know, I think it's really dependent on the person. My sister's obsessed with him. I think he's attractive, but I don't have that like, oh my god, he's so attractive. Like, wow. I just have like, I mean, he's very conventionally attractive.
It's
oh my
like
God,
after
yeah.
you watch the show, you get it why they're.
Oh
popular.
yeah. And it's like
okay,
he's
I get
obviously
it.
skilled and talented and hardworking. So then it all adds up. But I don't know if he's the person I would see one picture of and just be like, oh my god, this is like literally God's gift to earth. And like, how is someone look like that? Like, I don't understand. You know, that's I guess what we're trying to say. Meanwhile, potatoes. We're potatoes. Don't hate us. So both parties, they have these wildly successful acting careers before they meet, which kind of makes them the ultimate it couple. It's not like one of them was kind of lagging behind the other. They were both the it girl and guys of their generation. Song Hye-kyo was nicknamed the goddess of viewership ratings. She would get so much attention just by existing in a series. Before the series even came out, it would be guaranteed to get views because even her casting, even the news that she was casted in something was just, people would go crazy. And they came and they watched whatever she was in. Every producer wanted her because she's like a good luck charm, they said. Because the minute she's the lead, you're gonna get views. It's gonna be one of the top K-dramas.
But also, like,
Yeah.
imagine the pressure in that.
Exactly.
Though. Like, if you don't deliver this one,
Yeah, she was, and she delivered time and time again. And her career was actually taking off at a faster speed than Song Joong-ki's at the time. At the time, okay? And it was mainly because Song Joong-ki had a 2-year enlistment in the military. So obviously that puts a damper on things. But he gets out of the military and he's like, oh shit, I gotta be in my comeback era. Like, people were already waiting for his comeback, but it had to be good. Like, he had to deliver his comeback. He was kind of seen as the pretty boy prior to all of this. Like, people actually called him an idol. And at the time, this is like before BTS, this is before idols were actually more globally well known than actors. At the time, it was kind of a diss. Like, when you're called an idol as an actor, it's like,
You're cute. That's why you're in the show.
you're good looking.
yeah, you're good looking. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? But then now I guess, you know, idols, they have a lot of talent. But you get what I'm trying to say. So people are like, he's just a pretty face. He's just a pretty face. He gets casted on Descendants of the Sun.
And that was perfect because he just came out of military, right?
Yeah. And like, side note, it's about to get crazy. Song Joong-ki's friends had apparently even asked him once, who's your type? Like, who's your ideal type? Song Hye-kyo. Even as a celebrity, he would take selfies with billboards of Song Hye-kyo. They had never met. They're not even friends.
I thought you said, she's my screensaver.
Can you imagine? Yeah, but I think that's actually cooler than taking photos with the billboard, no? He would take photos with like her advertising billboards.
So he's a fanboy.
He's like strong fanboy. Apparently, if he had friends that were on set with Song Hye-kyo, he would go and hang out with his friends. But like, his friends clearly know, because he'd be like,
So how you doing?
they're like, are you looking for Song Hye-kyo right now?
No, I came here to drop off food for you. Oh, so like, is everyone here?
Do they all want to eat? Okay, like, he was obsessed with her, and the fact that they were going to be casted in the same role, I mean, he's excited. So this is like their very first real introduction into each other. They're introducing themselves, but they're also going to be each other's love interest. And the sparks really had to fly in order for the show to be successful. The show is about Doctors Without Borders. It's like that type of story. And it showcases the life of young soldiers and young doctors who are trying to kind of balance their lives, their love lives, their professions, their careers, their futures in like a war-torn area. So it's like a lot is going on. And
I think like the show was so popular at that time because it was different from traditional K-drama.
yes, it was really different. And also the lead, Song Hye-kyo, her character was not really what you expected in K-dramas. So she was a doctor, a woman who is focused on profits. She's out here to make money. Money. And so it's kind of, you don't really see that in female characters in Korea unless they're like a supporting lead. Never the main romantic lead.
And also, I think like their interaction was so like it wasn't like oh sorry.
Yes.
It was like their conversations like short. They're like very direct.
Yes.
Very. It's like that kind of like relationship. Just
Yeah.
even, people are so drawn to that because it wasn't
Yes.
like that kind.
Yes, and one thing that people really loved is like it's kind of based in like a extreme environment, and they're not like the world is about to end, but I like you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because that's so annoying and it's so immature, and this was not that. So.
Hold on, let me. You are literally selling me to watch it right now.
Okay, so change your location to Australia on Netflix and you can watch Descendants of the Sun because you can't watch it in the US. Or if you're outside of the US and you don't see it up on your Netflix, switch to Australia. So anyway, the show International Sensation, it was actually one of the first K-dramas of that era to break through on a global scale. Like Boys Over Flowers kind of did it, but it kind of was delayed. Like it released and then many years later on a global scale, it was like, oh my God, this K-drama. But this was almost instant.
Yeah.
Released, China was obsessed with
China,
it.
yes.
China
yes.
went nuts for this couple. Like probably more than Korean netizens. Chinese netizens obsessed with this couple, okay? And I'm gonna, like, there's more to that. But anyway, everyone starts falling in love. Former President Park. Oh yeah, Sewol Ferry, that lady, okay, corrupt. She went to jail, got released. Yeah, Park. President Park. She did some weird things. She allegedly wanted a billboard with Song Joong-ki's scenes on there from Descendants of the Sun. And her argument, I guess, was that if you push celebrities from South Korea internationally, it gives your country a lot of soft power. I'm sure you guys have maybe been hearing that a lot if you guys are in the like the discourse of the Eastern Asia and like the countries and their like the rise of K-pop. So she's saying, I'm pushing this celebrity because we want more soft power. We want
Wait.
international. Yes.
She pushing what? Like she's
Song Joong-ki. She wanted a billboard of Song Joong-ki.
where? Billboard where?
Like there was some sort of convention that was happening, but that billboard was going to be like $2 million, and she was like ready to fund it. people were so confused, and she already had a little bit of drama because prior to this, she was outed. She went to this really expensive hospital that's membership only, and you have to pay out of pocket $100,000 to even be allowed to visit this hospital. And from then on, you have to pay for each service on top of that
in Korea?
in Korea. So it's like super special. They don't take insurance. Yeah. So she went to one of these hospitals, already a scandal, and she used an alias name, like a fake name, right? And it was a name from The Secret Garden that's not really a Korean name. And she used it so that and then people were like, she's literally obsessed with K-dramas. Like this woman
What kind of scandal is this?
yeah, and like she's obsessed with K-dramas. And a lot of men, you know what? She's a pretty corrupt president. I'll give her that. But she was a corrupt female president. I'm just kidding. I hate her. Because of Sewol Ferry, right? That's the only reason I really hate her. I don't know too much about her politics and like everything that she's done. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, a lot of men were using it as,
Do we want this lady to run the country when she probably goes home and watch dramas all day? Like every other ajumma?
What?
like when she watches drama.
What in the world?
You know what I mean? Do we really want her as president?
Bro, what? This is so bizarre.
It was a whole scandal. Anyway, so then when the whole billboard thing happened, people were like, not again. And then there's a scene from Descendants of the Sun where... Can I get my iPad? I gotta show you the video. Because this isn't the first time she did it. Apparently, the president did this a lot, especially with Song Hye-kyo. People thought that she wanted to be Song Hye-kyo.
She wanted to be her?
Yeah, and like wanted to date Song Joong-ki and be Song Hye-kyo was the allegation.
What the?
It's a really weird allegation.
The president wants to date? Maybe he's her oppa.
Yes, because first of all, the president mentioned that she loved the show. The show comes out and she mentioned she loved the show, mentioned she wants to put Song Joong-ki on a billboard, and then she goes and like visits a different country, and people said that she was cosplaying Song Hye-kyo in the drama. I guess President Park had never really dressed like that. And then
What the?
they said that she was just cosplaying her.
What?
Just people thought it was like it was a little giggle gaggle, okay? Anyway, her supporters argued she's embracing K-dramas, which is what you need to do to gain soft power and to promote tourism to your country. Like, she's being smart. So there were two sides of the coin. Anyway, the drama ends. There's a lot of speculations. Like, I don't know. That on-scene chemistry was just too strong. If you paid me to make out with someone, they didn't make out. Like, if you paid me to be have that much tension, I don't think I could do it. Like,
They didn't
they're
even
good.
make out.
No, damn.
I want a refund.
It just was, there's no way. They didn't even have that much sexual tension with other people they were in leads with. You know what I mean? So everyone was saying, there must be something going on behind the scenes. There's just no way. And then a rumor comes out. I witnessed Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo shopping together in the US because, like I said, this was getting global attention at the time, which was pretty rare for Korean dramas. And Song Hye-kyo was quick to deny it. She responded, when I visited New York City on vacation, Song Joong-ki was there for work and we had one meal together. Later, Song Joong-ki was asked about the dating rumors in an interview and he said, you know, people that had been in the same drama, like even producers, writers, directors, the production team, we often have company dinners and the rumors of dating, you know, they just get annoying. I just want to thank everyone for enjoying the drama.
Bro, he's crying on the inside.
Yeah, he's like,
I want to tell everyone that's my woman. The woman on the billboard is my woman. Okay.
So for a while, everything dies down until another rumor pops up, allegedly. And a lot of these rumors were spread on Chinese social media because they had one of the strongest Chinese fan bases out of all the K actors. I mean, Chinese netizens were traveling a lot at the time. So a lot of Chinese netizens were in Bali and they were at this upscale resort and they were like, wait a damn minute. I just saw Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo at this resort in Bali.
It broke out in China first?
Yes, it starts going crazy in China. And everyone is like, what? Wait, what? Were they like in the same room? Give us more details. What's going on? And then their agencies came out and responded in a way that doesn't really shut down the rumors. It just made everything even more suspicious. They straight up said, it's not a rumor that we think is worth responding to. They both visited Bali on their own schedules. It's giving YG saying, Jennie's private life is her private life. It's giving confirmed, but not really confirmed. It's like, what's going on? So this happens. And then a month later, they announced that they're getting married. To the point where it was so out of nowhere. People are like, did she get pregnant in Bali? What's going on? Like, this is it's whiplash. Whiplash out of nowhere. Korean celebrities also they don't really get encouraged to get married. I think it's getting a lot better. You know, I think even with like Blackpink Jisoo, she's like making changes in the industry. She's being so confident with her dating and she's like, yeah, this is who I'm seeing and like, this is my life. And because she's been so upfront about it, everyone supports her and like, hopefully this is a good transition, right? But back in the day, and even still today, you know, it can really mess up your career. It can really f things up, especially for the woman. It's just shitty. And you know, I don't know what it is, but when a celebrity couple comes out, people go after the woman. It's always, let's dig into her and see how she's not good enough for him. It's never, let's dig into him and see why he's not good enough for her. I don't know why. So they try to do a campaign of shame, and that's what they call it. It's like the walk of humiliation. And what that means usually for K-idols is they'll bring up your high school picture before surgery. And they're like, see, you're not good enough. And you're all just plastic surgery, which like, who cares? But they dig up her old elementary school, middle school, high school photos. Top comments.
Song Hye-kyo has never not been pretty, huh?
Damn.
Yeah, other top comments.
Fine, I guess she deserves to marry him.
No.
Yeah, they're
No.
like, how are you like never not pretty?
Bro.
Every stage in her life, she's been pretty.
Oh my god.
Every
Bro,
stage.
So much pressure
Yes.
to take those school photos.
I know. So if you're thinking about
You
being,
never know.
you could be the next top idol. Okay, you gotta make sure you show up and glow up for those photos. Damn.
I didn't know my high school photo was the auditional photo.
Yeah. Like, holy shit, what the hell? So it's settled. The public was like, fine, they deserve each other, and they wished them marital bliss. But there were some fangirls though. Like Song Joong Ki was in an interview. I'm gonna play the clip. It's crazy. So this is after they announced their wedding, and you know those oh man, the name escapes me, but the poems where you take, in Korean it's easier. I don't know if it exists in America. So let's say your name is Mango 엉덩이. Mango 엉덩이, right? You can put the
Right, at the beginning, yeah.
엉덩이, and then
Yes.
you make a poem,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So this little girl is in an interview, and she's like, she's using the Song Joong-ki's name in that poem, and it's basically like, Song Joong-ki, I heard you're marrying 송혜교 언니, and then she goes, 준기 오빠 기다릴게, which means, 준기 오빠, I'll wait for you. And even Song Joong-ki was so shocked. He was like, he didn't even know what to say. And the MC of the interview goes, she means she'll wait to watch the wedding. And then she's like, that's what I meant.
준기 오빠 기다릴게요.
네? 기다린다고요? 새 신랑에겐 깜짝 놀랄 고백인데요. 설마.
And the way she's looking was, I'm confidently saying this right now. And what's crazy is after their divorce, people went back to that YouTube video and went,
Damn, she used all her luck. She got what she wanted. Song Joong-ki, come get her.
Come get her.
she'd been waiting. Crazy. Anyway, people were very invested. They were looking up their birth charts, going to clairvoyants to ask about their futures. They had the same last name. They had the same blood type A. Did you guys know? That blood types in Korea mean something? So
Huge,
people,
right?
huge. Okay, so right now in Korea, if even at job interviews, I don't think they ask about your blood type, but they ask about your MBTI, which is legal. That's crazy. But
It's illegal in America to ask for MBTI.
I feel like some people would be offended. But in Korea, it's so common. If you meet someone for the first time, one of the first questions is like, what's your MBTI? Yeah.
I do think MBTI says a lot though.
I think so too. And
Yeah.
it's so annoying because my MBTI is actually one of the worst reputations of the MBTIs. And every time I say it, people go, oh, oh. And then I'm like, yeah, I know. It's like one of the worst. Yeah, no, it's not. I'm like, okay, bitch, I get it. So they ask about your MBTI and like, what's your like blood type, right? Your blood young. And people often ask, and it's not because they want your blood. It's not because they want a blood transfusion, but it means something about your personality. So blood type A, which is what both the Song Song couple were, right? They're usually much more introverted. Sometimes a bit more timid. They're often very sensitive, but have a hard time expressing their emotions. And they're not that quick to trust people. They're very skeptical people. They're very patient, considerate of others. They're also seen as perfectionists who pay a lot of attention to details. They also work really hard and they value long-term friendships. So the best traits of blood type A include hardworking, patient, considerate, loyal, creative. The worst traits are secretive, closed off, self-conscious, obsessive, and sensitive. Then blood type B, these types are typically cool, independent, like follow their own rules types of people. They don't really like authority. They don't care about what people think about them. They're kind of like more free-spirited. They have a lot of passion. They're very impulsive. But when they're not passionate about something, they like don't care. And people think that they're actually lazy. So if they're not passionate about their job, people will perceive them as being lazy people. They're only hardworking when they're passionate.
Sounds like you.
I am blood type B.
No way.
Yes, I know.
No.
I'm
Wait.
blood type B.
Why did I think you're not? You're.
I'm B.
You're B?
Yeah.
I just found out.
I'm blood type B.
This
Yeah.
is accurate.
They're honest. They make friends easily. They value freedom. But since they're a bit more free-spirited, in South Korean culture, they're actually known to have the most enemies out of all the blood types. Like they're the type that they're not universally liked by people. And they're oddly known to have very strong immune systems. Like what the f-? Okay. Men with the type B blood are considered boys, and blood type B girls are often considered 싸가지 없어, which means big. Again, and so people are shocked when I tell them I'm blood type B. Because I guess that's like the first perception, and I don't really look like a rule breaker. And I guess I'm not like big So best traits: individualistic, passionate, optimistic, social, honest. Worst: impatient, irresponsible, self-centered, prideful, and moody. Then we have blood type AB, okay? So they say blood type ABs are like hit or miss. They're either unhinged, like just, oh my God, unhinged, or they're really genuine people. So this is like the most unpredictable of the blood types. Some of them, the good ones, they have a lot of can-do attitude about everything, and they're really smart. So these are like successful people. They're kind of in their own world at times. But when you get into like the unhinged territory of blood type AB, love my AB friends, okay? When you get into the unhinged territory, they're just kind of too much in their own world. But they're also so smart. So these are like the genius people. Sometimes it doesn't translate well and you're like, what? This person's living in their own reality. But sometimes because they're geniuses, it translates well and you're like, wow, this person is an innovator. But they're confusing to understand. They're fun to be around. They hate drama. So they're just like purely positive people. And they are the least understood blood type, because they're so unpredictable. So best traits: intelligent, positive, unique. Worst traits: critical, indecisive, unforgiving, aloof, and very unpredictable. Yeah. Then there's blood type O. You're O, right?
Yeah.
So these are considered natural born leaders. Get out of here. They're also well-rounded individuals. Get out of here. Okay. They're outgoing and charismatic when they want to be, but they like to be alone. I know. And they're also capable of saying what's on their mind with ease. Like, they're not afraid of confrontation.
Wait, is blood type really work?
Please leave it in the comments.
Does it match all your does every
Yeah.
blood type all feels the same way? Like,
Because it's too spot on. Like,
Yeah.
I know there are some times where you get these descriptions and you're like, well, everyone can fit it. But like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't fit blood type O
yeah.
at all. They believe in actions over words. So they don't like all this.
What?
They'd rather speak through their actions. They're very ambitious individuals who like to succeed, but sometimes their honesty comes off as condescending.
Wow.
Bro, they also hate losing, and they are a little bit stubborn, and they don't like to apologize first. Best traits is they're well-rounded, ambitious, self-confident, energetic, and charismatic when they need to be. Worst traits: stubborn, arrogant, overly competitive, insensitive, and sometimes vain. Bro. Okay, please let me know if you know your blood type and leave it in the comments if this is really accurate.
Calling me out.
Literally. So they both had blood type A, and everyone thought that they were just like a match made in heaven. They get married October 2017, and it was a beautiful, very private event at a luxury hotel. So the basic rent fees for this hotel to have your wedding there are $80,000. That's not including dress, food, everything. Just venue costs. No cameras were allowed. All the press were banned. They could have easily made it public, brought in sponsors, but they absolutely refused. There is almost no record of it on South Korean media. Why are you smiling? You know what's about to happen?
Yeah, because I saw it on the news.
But-
Was it drums or something?
Chinese netizens who loved the couple hid hidden cameras in the hotel prior
God.
and flew in drones over
Oh
the
my
venue.
God, yeah, that's pretty f***ed up.
And I think it was suppressed in South Korean media because of the legal implications. Mainstream media didn't want to talk about it. And that's why there's not much record of it in South Korean news. But they couldn't have control over Chinese media, obviously, right? So
Yeah, that's f***ed
it
up.
went viral. And I felt bad, but I hope that they had fun on their wedding. It looked like they did otherwise. And so everyone was really happy for them. And for about 2 years, it seemed like they were married. Everything was going well. Both of them were still very focused on their careers. And there wasn't really anything crazy until about 2019. Rumors start circulating on Chinese media because they have, again, like I said, huge Chinese fan base. Chinese netizens said that there was trouble in the relationship because Song Hye-kyo wasn't wearing her wedding ring, but Song Joong-ki was seen wearing his wedding ring. So Chinese media goes crazy with this. But when it got to Korean netizens, they didn't really think much about it because they were like, oh, it's not really in our culture to wear engagement rings like that, especially for women. Like maybe for men it's different because it's just a band. But for women, when it's like a diamond ring, like we don't really, it's not a thing here. Like maybe in like the US news, when a celebrity isn't wearing their engagement ring, it's like, oh, right? But it's not really like that in Korea. So they kind of shut down the rumors. Initially, it was dismissed. But within like 2 weeks, they announced their divorce. But let me tell you, this is where shit shit goes crazy. They didn't even announce their divorce. Like, it wasn't joint statements put out at the same time. Song Joong-ki filed for divorce. Song Hye-kyo was out of the country for work, and she found out about her own divorce through the news.
Wait, so he filed divorce without her knowing?
That's the allegation. Or the allegation is that she didn't know he was going to make it public that day, and she found out that it went public. Yeah. And this is an allegation, but it looked like she was blindsided because she flew back into Korea and she was like hounded by people. There was no plan in place for her to get safely from the airport back to her place. Like, it just looked like she was in a media frenzy. So she had to travel all the way back from a foreign country while the press were ready to sink their teeth into her. And since he announced it first, and while she was out of town, for some reason, everyone felt like it was her fault. Like, he was the one breaking up with her. That's how people kind of...
And this was shocking, right?
Oh, shocking.
Nobody saw this coming.
Even 2 weeks ago, everyone is like, what are you talking about? Rings don't mean anything. Like, they're fine. Let them be happy. Like, let them live.
How long they married for?
Like 2 years?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And people had so many questions. And both of them posted online. So Song Joong-ki said, we both hope to end the divorce process smoothly rather than blaming each other for our mistakes. I ask for your understanding that it's difficult to tell you these details of our personal life. As it's a personal matter, I ask you politely to refrain from making any random guesses and spreading false information related to our divorce. Once again, I'm sorry that I couldn't give you good news. Meanwhile, Song Hye-kyo, she had a representative speak out for her because she was already getting dragged at this point. Like, there was nothing she could say. People were like, how could you do this? They were blaming her.
Why?
So there is some misogyny involved, of course. A lot of people, the first initial speculation was like, she was not a good wife. She didn't care. She was still focused on her career. She only cared about her career. She didn't care about her love.
What?
Which is exactly what he was doing.
Wow, so just baseless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at first it's baseless, and then it becomes like weird rumors. They stated that she's currently in the process of getting a divorce after careful consideration with her husband, and the reason was differences in personality. And they said that they couldn't overcome these differences. So both were pretty acceptable like PR statements, but the public still wanted to know why. And they got really carried away with it. And to make matters worse, there was a rumor that Joong-ki's dad had always supported them. Like, he basically made a shrine in his apartment for them, like his house for them. It was just pictures of them from Descendants of the Sun, like everything about them. He had like banners outside of his home for them. And allegedly, according to his neighbors, one day after the announcement, everything was in the trash. Like, anything that had Song Hye-kyo on it was in the trash. So that's fueled rumors that Song Hye-kyo did something to piss off not just Song Joong-ki, but also his parents. Because people were speculating online, if he and she couldn't reconcile their personality differences, I'm sure his parents, being adults, would just be like, okay, that's sad. You know, maybe we can stay in touch with her. She was our daughter-in-law for 2 years after all. So a lot of people are like, she must have done some shit. They just were going crazy with these allegations. And then everyone got a lawsuit. Every single person, mainstream media outlets, Korean bloggers, YouTubers, random ass netizens, because defamation laws in South Korea are probably one of the strictest ones. Like, US defamation laws are, I don't know, they're like kind of okay. Defamation laws in South Korea, you're gonna be wiping the courts with your own booty if you be slandering someone. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, good. So all these people are just getting sued left and right. And I just think that also shows the power of this couple. They were both being represented by the top 2 law firms in the entire nation. Like, powerhouses of law firms. Insane. So the only information to really get from this divorce was through Chinese media, international media sources. Because I mean, you could get it from like American sources, but obviously they had a stronger presence in China. It's not because Chinese people were like trying to spread rumors. It's just, it was blocked in South Korea, and their next biggest fan base was in China. It was pretty bad. I can see why people were getting sued in South Korea. Song Hye-kyo was getting dragged. The biggest rumor that was going around was that because she was abroad in a foreign country filming for her next show, they said that she cheated with the other main lead. And that's why they were getting divorced. And that's why Song Joong-ki's dad was like getting rid of her pictures and all of that. And what is the proof? What is the basis for their allegations? These bloggers and YouTubers just said,
Well, she has a reputation for sleeping with her co-stars.
Wow.
with no proof. I'm sorry. When were you a f***ing producer on these top K dramas? I'm sorry. When were you the lead? Okay, how the f- do you know? People were just saying like, well, that's the rumor that she loves sleeping with her co-stars or dating her close co-stars. Literally, what? There was even this meme that was circulating of her that is so horrible. It was 5 men, very famous actors. 4 of them were her 4 last recent former co-stars that all had dating allegations. And like, you know, dating allegations don't even just come from suspicious things coming from the couple. It's not like, oh, they were spotted together, they were doing this together, right? It's straight up people wanting them to date and thinking they have chemistry and then like coming up with this own little fantasy in their heads. So like, she had nothing to do with these dating allegations. It was 4 of these guys that were laughing, and then Song Joong-ki is crying on the sand, and they're all at a beach, and they're playing the sand game. Do you know what the sand game is? You make like a mound of sand, and you stick a stick in the middle, and everyone pulls a little bit of sand down from the sides, and if you're the last one to pull and the stick falls, you're the loser. You're caught holding the stick, and Song Joong-ki is the last one holding the
Oh
stick.
my
So it's
God.
basically, the meme is so
my
it's like,
God.
we all got to do fun things, but you have to marry her.
Wow, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. And then people were saying, because Song Hye-kyo also, her image, her look, and the way she carries herself in interviews, she gives off more of like a wise soul vibe. So in interviews, she's incredibly elegant, sophisticated, well-mannered, but she's not the type of actor, and it's just not in her personality, to be like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. Like, oh my God, sorry. You know, like, oh my God, this. You know, she's more the type to be like, oh, thank you, you know? But that's who she is. That's how she is, right? But people started saying that she was this egotistical person. She thought that because she's famous, she's like the queen, and everyone needs to do whatever she wants, because she didn't have the stereotypical like, 안녕하세요, like, hee hee, oh my God, like, no, don't say I'm pretty.
Wow.
And so people straight up started sympathizing with Song Joong-ki and saying that they felt bad that he had to put up with her for their marriage. They started this whole narrative that she was obsessed with her own career. She refused to have a family. She refused to have a relationship with Song Joong-ki. She probably cheated on him, and she was obsessed with herself, which is crazy because allegedly she, you know how she was in the process of filming a show while she was married. She had allegedly told all of the people on set, like, yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be the last one I do in a while, because I think I should start focusing on like maybe trying to get pregnant. So it seems like she was willing to sacrifice a lot to start a family. Allegedly. So I don't know. The rumors just felt so targeted towards her for no reason. And it was just really, really fucked up. Really fucked up. Meanwhile, everyone is like, and again, I'm not saying that Song Joong-ki should have gotten hate, but he's being put on a pedestal. A pedestal. It was so bad. So then, because people were getting sued left and right, South Korean netizens got a little wild. They started doing a... Can I get my iPad? Let me show you. This is a compatibility chart.
Is it like a code type of thing?
Oh, kind of, yes. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
You're drawing now?
Oh, yeah. This is an immersive show. You
The
know what I
budget.
mean? Budget's gone up.
Budget's gone up, guys. Finally.
Started with nothing, and now
We got CGI, guys.
we got CGI. Okay, so I'm gonna do your Korean name. 미망고. Okay, 1. So it's how you write in Korean. Like every time you take your pen off,
Yeah.
you gotta stop. But in like, I don't know if it works in English.
I'm so confused. What are you
Okay,
saying?
so I'm gonna write 미망고 for Mr. Mango. Me, that's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many times I had to lift my pen up?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
not
Strokes.
syllables, but strokes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So we have 미망고 and 수진이. These are our names, okay? And then we do, what's the difference between 5 and 7? 2. 7 and 3 is 4. 4 and 5 is 1. 5 and 2 is 3. Then the difference between 2 and 4
It's 2.
is 2. And then 1 and 3 is
2.
2. We have 0% compatibility.
Fuck is this?
Wait, was I supposed to do this?
No, it could be possible. 0%. Sure. It could be possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
budget cut.
Budget cut.
That did not work out. So people are doing that to their names?
Yeah, because they're like, we can't even speculate why they divorced, so let's just come up with these random ass charts. And like literally these were like on the top of forums, and people were like, It says they only got 11% compatibility. Anyway, let's look at their birth charts now and see if that tells us anything about this divorce. Well, if they had used ExpressVPN, they could have maybe seen some, you know? Anyway, so the cheating rumors go crazy. And then Song Hye-kyo even got more hates because she wasn't tucking her tail. So divorced women in South Korea have a really bad stigma. They're literally stigmatized. They're supposed to be like, they're lesser than non-divorced women or married women. So they tuck their head and just like know that they should know their place, is the energy that a lot of these misogynistic men in Korea believe. And she wasn't doing that. She was like, why should I do that? I'm rich and I'm famous and I'm successful.
Yeah, what did she
So
even do?
I'm
Like,
gonna
what?
just be myself. So she would still go to events and hold her head up high, and people were pissed. I would say a lot of her haters were men, okay, or people who had really subscribed to the patriarchy. Because you don't have to hate her to like Song Joong-ki. You can like both of them. So she becomes the biggest villain for getting divorced. Meanwhile, Song Joong-ki is doing a lot more things that honestly would have deemed controversial if she had done them. So December 2022, he announced that he was dating a new woman, a former British actress named Katie Louise Saunders. And she was now working as an English teacher. So she had retired from her acting career and she was working as an English teacher. And side note, even before their relationship was public, he had done something at an award show that people were confused by. He won an award, and during his speech, he said, I want to thank my beloved, like, 사랑하는 KT.
사랑하는 동생 그리고 사랑하는 우리 KT, 우리 날라, 마야 안테스 뭐.
Now, KT in Korean, we don't say Katie, we say KT. But KT is like AT&T. There is a telecommunications company called KT. So people thought that he was working with KT and they like sponsored his agency or him. So they thought like 사랑하는 AT&T. It's like, oh, he's thanking his sponsors, right? Because it's like no one,
yeah.
Katie's not a name in Korea, you know? It's just KT Communications.
So you're saying he was trying to present his girlfriend at that time?
I don't know if he knew he was going to get away with it, so people didn't really care. Maybe it was like a secret, like inside thing between them. But now, after he announced it, people were like,
Oh my god, he wasn't talking about KT telecommunications.
He was talking about his girlfriend.
yeah.
And people didn't catch that.
No, because literally he said KT.
Okay, so you think he's being smart. He's like trying to slick this one
Yeah.
through for the girlfriend.
Yeah, otherwise he would have been like KT Luigi Sanders. You know what I mean? Okay. So people are like, okay, that makes sense. And then he goes on to say, I want to thank my 사랑하는 Nala, Entes, and Maya. So again, no
What
one
is that? What are you
knows.
saying,
People
Mala?
thought these were like production crew or like something, but they were their dogs. They shared dogs, and he was thanking their dogs, okay? And then a photo goes viral not long after that of Chungi attending a friend's wedding in Korea, and she's there. And these are like not paparazzi photos because it's not like publicly announced, but like people that were there like snuck a photo, or like he was in the background of posted photos. And another picture was then released, and this was like them coming forward with their relationship. Both of them were arriving at Incheon Airport together. And people speculate why he came out with the news. Because like the next month, he announces that she's pregnant.
Oh, okay, so she's still pregnant right now.
Oh no, she just gave birth in June. But I will say he also got a lot of haters, and their relationship, I'm sure, wasn't the easiest because she was dragged too. There were rumors that she was already a parent and a single mom to 2 kids, and just a lot of like shady stuff people were saying about her. And Chungi has come out and said that those rumors are false. But they are starting a family together, and now they're living in a $16 million mansion in Seoul. Yeah, and it was rumored that that was the house that he had built for Song Hye-kyo, but that rumor turned out to be false. So I'm not sure if the false part was that she never lived there, or if it wasn't for her, or like what it was, but it just turned out to be false. But I mean, okay, what I will say is that I hope, well, you know what, before I get to that, because she got pregnant very quickly after their relationship status was released, people kind of put 2 and 2 together, and they believe that maybe Song Hye-kyo and Song Joong-ki got divorced because Song Hye-kyo had allegedly mentioned to people she was going to try and get pregnant, and it wasn't working. Or some people state that maybe Song Hye-kyo wasn't ready to have a kid because she's at like the prime of her career, you know? So either way, it's not her fault, not that it would ever be. I don't know, maybe it's none of their faults. Maybe they just really don't get along and everyone else blew it out of the water, but it just seems like a lot. Yeah. I will say this though, and I think this is why people started kind of realizing how bad the public had been to Song Hye-kyo, and people started going back and apologizing to her even, was think about it. If Song Hye-kyo had done this, had divorced her husband when he was overseas, and then not too long after, I mean, not like immediately, but not too long after, announced another public relationship and then announced that she was starting a family with that person, she would have been f***ing destroyed. Like destroyed in the media. She would probably never be able to work another day in her life. Like the narrative about her would have been like, she's like a homie hopper, just like hopping around, doing some literally moralless, dignityless woman. How can she not feel shame if she had done this, if the roles were flipped? And I don't know internationally. I don't know. I'm sure internationally maybe fans would have been a little bit more supportive, but in South Korea at least, it would have been so bad.
It's already bad for her.
Yeah, and she did nothing.
Yeah.
So think about if she was the one that was like, this is my new relationship, and like, by the way, we're pregnant. So then people are like, okay, now that we think about it, yikes, that was pretty bad, you know? Like, why did we hate her? For some rumors and for daring to show her face again after a divorce? Yikes. So by the time that she was casted in The Glory, a lot of people were kind of feeling apologetic, but they were still like, we don't know. If this doesn't come out, like if she's not rolling, we don't know what's going to happen. It was said that she was paid about $200,000 per episode of The Glory, and she put in her whole back into this. She was praised by all of her co-stars. At one point, you know the scene where she's showing her love interest on the show all of her scars, and she has to take off all of her clothes, like a lot of her clothes, not all of them. And she was on a diet of just one banana a day for multiple days straight. She didn't even drink water because she said that her vision of this character was to portray someone who was so broken that she neglected her own body, neglected her own health, and she wanted viewers to not look at her and say, oh, she's so pretty, but to have like a visceral, like, oh, she does not look healthy. Like she didn't want this to be like oh, she's so skinny and healthy and like, she's so pretty. Like she wanted it to be like a gut-wrenching moment. She said that she stopped wearing chapstick for certain scenes because she wanted to show like her lips were chapped, like all these like raw, which is pretty intense in South Korea. Like a lot of K-dramas, they do put a lot of value into being aesthetically pleasing, especially the main leads. Like even when they're in war, they're like, their hair is perfect. You know what I mean? Like even when they're in like a bank heist, they're looking cute. Okay, Money Heist, I tried to watch the Korean version. I love every single one of these actors, and it's definitely societal pressure. But tell me why you guys are in like a shootout and your hair is blowing in the wind. And she just went all in this character, and it was like the renaissance of her career. And she's being booked by all the top fashion houses right now, which is crazy because she's 41, and in South Korea, you know, all these fashion houses are like, we want the youngest K-idols. But she's getting it. She's focused on other big projects, and people are like, we are loving this like power era of Song Hye-kyo. She's like, I don't need a man. I don't need anybody.
Wow.
And I'll f***ing sue you. Okay. Like, shit. I love her. So all in all, I just hope that everyone is happy after this. But that is that's some shit that she went through. That's a very emotional, complicated journey, I'm sure. What are your thoughts?
Wow.
If you're an international viewer, did you guys know that there was such a crazy, like, her career depended on this drama that we all loved and enjoyed? Did you know that there was, like, that much pressure?
Yeah. So, wow. So, wow. She really was, like, at a low, huh?
A low. And allegedly the writer was, you know, people had been gossiping on forums of like, is this her flop era? And that writer is the writer of Descendants of the Sun, you know? So this is they're reunited, and even the writer was saying Song Hye-kyo was so impressive. Like I was so worried for her because of the harsh things she was putting her own body through to really embody this character. But she was like, I knew she would bring it. So what could I do? Yeah. Oh, I'm getting chills. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. It's just an hour straight of me being a little fucking fangirl. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this one? And make sure to check out ExpressVPN, link to the description, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.